Wow, that's a tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Dylan Blight, and joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to talk about this state of play. I haven't been able to catch the news recently, but I'm really excited for you to let me know what happened at this state of play that definitely happened this past week.
Unfortunately, there was a loss in the family. And the loss was they decided to kill the AI voice actor that they had doing the state of plays. So they had to postpone the state of play to find a real host.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Pulling out.
Yeah. It was a whole ordeal, but in case you were wondering about that, that's officially what happened. You know?
Okay.
It wasn't that I was wrong.
It was just circumstances out of their control.
Exactly.
That they controlled.
So you can still trust Platinum Explosion, the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias, to be your number one source for correct state of play prediction times and such.
Yep.
Yeah. Just wanted to double check all that. And moving on. In the trophy cabinet this week, a bronze trophy, July's PlayStation Plus game, silver trophy of Apex Legends Season 2 details, a gold trophy, there's a new No Kuni game coming, and we hit a platinum with a bunch of VR shit. We're going to talk about something that's not PlayStation related, but it's PlayStation related. It will be. It's VR, get excited! Woo! Air horn!
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's early in the morning. I just woke up. I can't really. All right, so let's talk about the PlayStation Plus games this month. So, okay, so the two games we got are Pro Evolution Soccer 2019 and Horizon Chase Turbo. That is it. That is your games for this month.
Yep.
How do you feel about these games, Ash?
I mean, on the plus side, nobody's probably got them, so brand new games.
That's true. I highly doubt anyone has these games.
Yeah, so
maybe PES. I don't know.
Maybe, but FIFA's got such a lead, I feel, in the market now that because they've got all the licenses and everything. So
a couple trendsetters out there that prefer PES over FIFA or something.
Yeah, so might check it out, see how it's gone. I haven't played a FIFA PES since mid 2000s, so
it's Konami, so I always wonder what could have worse microtransactions, them or EA.
It's true. I'll be interested to find out. Yeah, and then I guess it's a racing game, the other one, so that's kind of evergreen. I guess it's fine.
It says it draws inspirations from it's an arcadey type thing, I think. If you I'm like flicking through the trailer, it's a very arcadey looking thing, but
yeah. So if you don't have any money to buy Crash Team Racing this month, there's a game for you.
Yeah, but I mean, it looks like it was made in the 90s as well, whereas Crash it doesn't look like it was made in the 90s. Yeah, it's quite a odd month, I guess, but
yeah, sports games as a PS Plus game is always odd, I think, especially now that there's only two, because they get outdated, I guess, so quickly.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like sometimes I'll be like, here's this one, and it's like, well, the new one's about to come out, and it's not like it's not like giving the first of a game that's about to get a sequel. Sports games don't really have the same. It's like you're just missing out on features, and the roster will be old, and whatever else, and so a bit weirder. The comments in the PlayStation blog post about the PlayStation Plus games this month are,
I'm sure, overwhelmingly positive, right?
Unsurprisingly, quite negative. I like how top one wasn't like being too big of an asshole. They just wrote, oh my. But then, you know, there's people in there. Where's this one? There's people in here somewhere who's like, I'm going to cancel it. Something like that. You know, they're, I can't find it now. But, here we go. I'm sorry, I'll let my PlayStation Plus subscription expire in November. I won't renew anymore. This year was generally poor, but this month is the lowest ever. You can keep your multiplayer service and stuff. I'm not interested in it anymore.
Cool.
No,
just stop paying for it.
Yeah, I can't defend this list of games. It's terrible. Right? This isn't a good month.
No,
Full
it's not
stop.
a good month.
I would say it's one of the worst months, to be honest.
Well, it's only amplified by the fact that there's only 2 games now.
Yeah, sometimes you'd get shitty PS4 games, but you'd be like, but there's a really good Vita one or a PS3 one or whatever, and then like it's cross-play or whatever, so technically you got a PS4 copy anyway, or, you know, something. There was always something else, I guess, but it's like 2 very bad, whatever, not non-exciting games. It's definitely not good. It just makes me wonder, once again, what they're doing with this, because it's like last month they had the Handsome Jack collection thing, and everyone was like, yeah, that's exciting, that's cool.
That makes sense.
Borderlands 3 is out, yeah, that's a good one. Everyone was quite pleased with that. Even Sonic, it's like, it's, you know, cool, Sonic Mania, sure, get excited. And then this month they're like, yeah, and have some trash.
Yep.
So I'm just like, what are we doing here with PlayStation Plus? What are we doing? Because usually it was never this bad. I don't feel like
I'm
it was
sure
ever
there
usually
was
this
probably
bad.
some months that were just as bad, but
Maybe that I can't wait for. I can't find in my memory, but I mean, even back on the PS3, we still had like Vita games at then. It's we're dealing with for the first time just this 2-game thing.
Yeah.
Which can lead to disappointment rather quickly, I guess. But there's your games. My pick for the month is playing last month's. I don't know. Like, is that an option?
playing the other games you've got on PS Plus that you're paying for to keep in your library.
Yeah, here's my pick. If you're paying for PS Plus and you've got online, go play like Apex Legends or Dauntless or some
Use that multiplayer service.
Yeah, use that multiplayer service. Just don't. Yeah, I mean, I can't pick between these. You're gonna at least try PES, but
yeah,
I would probably never try either of these games unless I did actually look it up. Maybe I should, but unless that Horizon game's got an easy platinum or something, at which point
that's true.
I'll play it. Doesn't mean it's suddenly a good game. Like most games I play for platinums. Let's be real. So also we got a couple. Comes from Press Start. PlayStation gets a couple new PlayStation hit games added. So you got Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. I was about to be really confused because I'm like, we're just talking about. I just clicked that car game is a secret spin-off of the Horizon Zero Dawn franchise. There you go. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. So that has the Frozen Wilds DLC in it as well. Yeah. And you got God of War 3 Remastered, Neo, and Friday the 13th, the game added to the set. I find it really interesting that like Horizon Zero Dawn getting added makes sense. Cool. You know, obviously that would have sold a bunch.
A lot.
God of War 3 Remastered. Yeah, sure. Why not? Then it gets weird. It's like Neo, really? I didn't realize that was so popular, I guess.
Maybe it's just so critically acclaimed that they've added
I thought
it.
They had to sell X amount of copies or something.
They don't care. It's just whenever they decide to remarket it and add it to the collection.
Yeah, it's well, Neo. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Even
you look at the list of the games that are underneath this article, and you tell me that all of them hit a certain target. There's definitely one game there that is a very niche.
Is the one that's standing out to you Earth Defense 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair?
Yeah, that's the one that's standing out to me.
And the last game that they added was Friday the 13th, the game, which is funny because, like, it's a dead game.
Well, I mean, you can still play it.
You can play it, but
it's not getting any new content or anything.
It's not getting any new content or updates.
But how many of these other games are getting updates and stuff? So,
I suppose, but it's a multiplayer only thing. So I was like, here, buy this game.
Great game, though.
Great game. Cool. Get excited. So that brings the full list to what? How many fucking games here? They didn't write how many games here. A lot of games here. Yakuza 0, Watch Dogs, Until Dawn, Uncharted, Nathan Drake Collection, Uncharted 4, Last of Us Remastered, Tales of Berseria, Street Fighter 5, Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, Rayman Legends, Ratchet & Clank, Project Cars, Plants vs Zombies, Garden Warfare 2, One Piece, Pirate Warriors 3, Neos, Need for Speed Rivals, Need for Speed, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate, Ninja Storm 4, Mortal Kombat 10, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, Metal Gear Solid 5, the Definitive Edition, Little Big Planet 3, Killzone Shadowfall, Infamous Second Son, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, God of War 3 Remastered, Friday 13th, the game MF Defense 4.1, The Shadow of New Despair, EA Sports, UFC 2, Dynasty Warriors 8, Extreme Legends, Drive Club, Dragon Ball, Xenoverse, Bloodborne, Batman Arkham Knight, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, Neo, God of War 3, Remastered, Horizon Zero Dawn. Is that really how it worked out? There's 2 Horizon Zero Dawns now on this list. Is this incorrect by press start, or is that really what the world we're living in? Because that's weird.
They've just put them in twice.
I think they've put them in twice. That has to be real, because that would.
Don't want to throw stones,
shitty.
but sometimes there's
shitty.
a couple of errors in press start stuff.
Well, yeah, there is. I mean, I can spot a couple right here, and I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get into it, but I'm just like, come on. Horizon Zero, because if they did have Horizon Zero Dawn twice in the list, it would be like that shitty kind of consumer consumer practice.
I guess technically they could have had the base game as it, and now they're doing the complete edition.
Well, then they should take the base one out now.
Probably.
That's shitty. Because I'm saying it would be shitty consumer practice to be like, someone could be walking along and then they buy that, but then they couldn't have realized that they could have brought them on DLC for the exact same price, because all of these games are $25 RRP or whatever it is. So that would be shitty. Either way, cool. Nice list of games there. Get excited, buy some cheap.
Now you've got no excuse not to have played Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's right. And the Frozen Wilds DLC, which I haven't played.
I didn't say that. I just said the base game.
Just to complete the base game? Okay.
Well, I guess if you buy it now, it'd be so easy just to get into the Frozen Wilds, because it would just be part of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, actually, no, I didn't get it. There was no season pass or anything like that. So yeah, I could probably cheapest way to get it. Maybe if you see it on sale. I know some of these games are on sale on Amazon at the moment. None of the new ones, but I did quickly look the other day to see what was on there. Nothing that excited me, but I don't want to talk about it since I just saw this. I was having this thought laying in bed last night, because I was flicking through Twitter, right? And what spurred this coming back to me now is just I saw the list where it says Yakuza 0. So that Judgment game came out last week, you know?
Yeah.
And I was looking through Twitter and I saw people, saw a couple posts about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, I would like to play this. And I've always been like, I would like to try one of these Yakuza games. The reason I never get around to trying any of these fucking games is because I'll see a review or something or whatever, or type, how long is it to beat these games? And I'll be like, oh, it takes like 80 hours. Yeah. Like I looked up, how long does it take to beat Judgment? Oh, like 60 to 80 hours or something. What? That's too long. The runtime turns me off wanting to even attempt to start it. Is the problem.
How long did you play Kingdom Hearts 3?
I think it was only 30-ish hours.
That's true.
To complete the game.
How many hours did you put into the Division 2?
Oh, that was different. That was a multiplayer thing. But I think it's the knowing how long it'll take to complete the base storyline from the outset that turns me off. You know, it's like a scary thing, because you're saying like the Division. When I started the Division, I didn't know how long it was going to take. I knew it would take me around 10, 15 hours, probably maybe 20 max, to complete the story if I wanted to.
Yep.
So I could jump off it at any point, kind of thing, because I'd be like, oh, I've done it. I've done the story. You know, we're cool. But it's not like, oh, this game will suck X amount of hours out of your life, whatever. And I think by the time I was done with the Division, well, I've still got it if I jump back in, but by the time I was done with the Division, I think I only put like 60 hours in, maybe 55 to 60. So not even enough to finish fucking Judgment. I've finished this game. The only game I've played recently where my amount of hours would probably get close to being able to beat Judgments is fucking Days Gone, because it took 200 hours to beat. And I didn't know that when I started Days Gone either. I don't think anyone knew that when they started Days Gone. They're like, Days Gone, right, cool. This will take like 20, 30 hours to beat, because that seems to make sense. No. It'll take your life to beat. But yeah, I've seen some of the Judgment reviews and stuff, and I'm like, I'd like to play this game. It looks kind of weird and fun and stuff. And then I know they keep porting over these Yakuza remakes or whatever. Not or they call them remakes or re-releases, where they're, you know, whatever I don't know the official wording on them because I'm not a Yakuza fanboy. But whatever they're doing, where they're fixing some of the issues in the past things, like they're deleting and changing like transphobic jokes and shit like this. So it's like, oh yeah, I can see user updating these games in a positive fashion and whatever else. So I'd like to try one. If you'd like to make one that doesn't take a million hours, please let me know. Talking about Days Gone though, so Days Gone has a free DLC out this week. I haven't tried it yet, but I got this article from Push Square that explains what it is, and I thought it was interesting. It says, in the age of loot boxes and microtransactions, few things are more refreshing than free add-on packs and that add a genuine value to an already excellent experience. Sony to its credit has been pretty good with post-release support for Blockbuster exclusives, blah, 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 blah. Set to unfold over 12 weeks. You're getting a series of score-based arcade challenges with leaderboards and unlocks. The first week available right now sees you taking on a relentless horde against the clock. Freakers will keep coming until you eat the dirt, but fortunately you're equipped with an arsenal of Deacon St. John's best gear from the main game, including pipe bombs and proximity mines. The idea is to maintain a chain of kills in order to maximize your score while undead deaths also add time to the clock. You've got just 60 seconds at the beginning, but some well-placed explosions will see a counter moving in a positive direction. As anyone who's attempted the hordes in the main game will know, it's easy to get overwhelmed, but that makes for plenty of replay value as you attempt to come up with the best strategy to maximize your score. I think this is a pretty cool 3 edition because I think like one of the best aspects of Days Gone was just taking down the hordes. Like that's one of well, it's either at times, depending, especially early game, seeing a horde is ridiculously scary and you don't want to go anywhere near them. And if you ever set them off, it was like, oh fuck, my life is over. Please get me the hell out of here. But late game, when you had like cooler weapons and you're souped up with, mines and bombs and all this sort of stuff, you kind of roll in there with a plan, and taking them all down makes you feel like a badass, and it's actually really fun. And so I think this is a good free edition, and if they're going to continue rolling out different ways to take them on and these sorts of things, I will probably check it out, because at some stage I want to go back and get that platinum anyway, because I was trying for that, and I'm not far off it. If I jump back into it, I could probably clear up the platinum pretty good time. So I'll probably jump into this as well, because they did add new trophies for this, which is good. And that's another thing I want to point out, because they added the last free DLC they added was the harder difficulty mode, and New Game Plus or something like that was a part of it as well, I think, or something. Anyway, it was a new difficulty mode, and they added free trophies for that. And now they've added another free update, and they've added free DLCs, free trophies for this free DLC as well, which, I appreciate when they add free stuff and give you free trophies. Some people may not like it because they're like, I platinumed it. I had 100%. Now these free updates are ruining my 100%. But just go get trophies or shut up, whatever, it's fine. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad they're supporting it, even though it got, shit on by critics, I guess.
Yeah.
It
had a rough launch.
It had a very rough launch, yeah. So I'm glad they're not just like, and we'll stop supporting it or talking about it or whatever. They're like, cool, we'll still do stuff. All right, so coming from Push Square as well, a third Ni no Kuni game is now in development, it says. In an interview with Japanese magazine Nikki, Level 5 president Akio Hino has revealed that a third entry in the Ni no Kuni franchise is currently in development. It's planned for release after the movie based on the series hits Japanese theaters on 27th of August. The project forms a part of the developers' plans to make Ni no Kuni a much bigger franchise than it already is. Alongside the aforementioned film release and the confirmation of a third game on its way, Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered comes to PS4 this September, while Akio Hini also revealed that a smartphone app will be coming to phones. That's not something that interests us too much, blah, 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 blah. At this point, we assume a third Ni no Kuni game will be coming to the PS4. I think it's interesting just from the standpoint of like kind of when the second game was announced, it was like, oh yeah, cool. But they never really talked about it as like a big property and a big franchise, because say a Final Fantasy game releases, you know another one's coming. You're not like, is this the end? Is this
Yeah.
the final one? And even when Ni no Kuni 2 released, it's like, is this it? Is this the final one? We don't really know, but you know, when they're talking about it being a huge property now, and they're like, we've got films and sequels, and who knows what else they could potentially be working on. I suppose they could do an anime series after that, I guess, would be something, books, manga, comics, what have you. Of course, there's lots of different options. I think it's really cool because even though I haven't finished either of the fucking games, I do like I do like the games. They're too long. I can't beat the fucking things. I do like all these games, of course, and it's a cool world. So there's obviously lots of room to do many stories, especially because, as we've talked about previously, both of the games are set, 1,000 years between them or whatever it is. So there's like so much room for just stories and storytelling and characters and spin-offs and what have you. But what do you reckon a third game would be? As someone who's beat 2, would something in 2 hint at what a third game would be, or do you reckon it would just be like 1,000 years later, something else?
It would have to be 1,000 years later because, slight spoilers, everything ends up happy and the world is at peace at the end of the game. So
spoilers, I think that's how the first one ends as well. So
I guess, yeah. So I would imagine it'd be set well after where things could happen. Yeah, it's intriguing. I guess it'd be interesting also to see whether they bring back the real world, like our worlds thing that they didn't really touch on in the second game. But yeah, I'd be keen to check it out. I think, yeah, we might get clues from the movie. That might be a thing. But I feel like, again, it will just be a completely different story. It's just an interesting setting, and obviously Level 5 isn't really doing a hell of a lot after Professor Layton has finished, so Ni no Kuni seems to be the big thing, and I'll keep playing it. It'd be interesting if they like have the same sort of mechanics as 2, or they just bring out something sort of different to 3. Like in 2, you had those strategy bits that you had to do, and you had the base building and everything that wasn't in the first game. And they didn't in the first game. They had the little creatures you had to capture and that sort of thing. So whether they mix it up again for the third one will be interesting to see here.
You had creatures in the second one. You just didn't do the same thing with them. What they were called?
The little piggledies.
Piggledy-diggledies, yeah, but you didn't battle with them.
No.
I mean, they battled, but
they just sort of helped you, kind of.
They did stuff. The weird little fuckers.
Nobody knows.
Piggledy-diggledy. Yeah, so I think that's exciting. I'm keen to watch this movie when it releases. Also, I'd like to point out, I saw someone, I don't know if it was Dash or someone else, I think it was Dash, fucking tweet out the other day and like tag people or someone. I don't remember who.
Tag people, not us, who have been talking about every single piece of Ni no Kuni related news for the last.
I see this, and it's like he must have only just discovered it was a thing, and I was like, not to like,
bitch, please.
Yeah, I was like, bitch, please. We've been talking about this for months at this point. Like, fucking, come on, Jesus. You want to know why we're the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias? We cover news before it's mainstream. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I've got the topics for you. You want to hear when Ni no Kuni 3 is coming out? Listen to this. I will tell you when it's coming out. Months before.
When it's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out. That's right. I predict and tell. And don't you worry. State of Plays, I get predictions right every time. DualShockers writes, Final Fantasy VII Remake wins Best of Show for E3 29 from the Game Critics Awards. Says each year prior to E3, a number of critics from various outlets around the globe descend upon Los Angeles for something called Judges Week. It is here that many get to see ahead of time a portion of games that will be show up a few weeks later at E3 proper and try them out beforehand. After playing a whole bunch of games all week long, these critics then vote for the games that are distinguished as the best of show from the esteemed Game Critics Awards panel. So this year, the big winner, was Final Fantasy VII Remake. It took the top honors this year's E3, with the game being awarded Best of Show. In addition, Final Fantasy VII Remake also took home the awards for Best Console Game and Best RPG. The only other game to win multiple awards this year was that of the Bethesda's Doom Eternal, which won Best PC Game and Best Action Game. And this, I was about to bring this up, but if you're wondering how some games like Cyberpunk 2077 didn't end up with more hardware. Well, there's some reason for that. Only the games that were actually playable at E3 can count towards these awards. And with so few games actually being playable at E3 2019, a lot of highly anticipated upcoming titles like Cyberpunk, Dying Light 2, etc. were automatically disqualified. So I'll quickly run down some other ones here just to see if anything stands out. So you got Best Original Game went to The Outer Worlds. Best VR AR game went to Phantom Covert Ops. That is the one where you are in a rowing boat or whatever you want to call it, and you're making your way down a stream and you
kayak?
shoot people. Yeah, the kayak one. You're in a kayak. Yeah, that's it. You're in a kayak and then you shoot people out of kayak and stuff. But apparently people are saying the story is pretty good and whatever else. I mean, the idea that you just the whole game in this kayak is quite funny to me. But best hardware peripheral Elite Control Series 2. Who'd have thought that? Best action adventure Watch Dogs Legions. Best racing game Crash Team Racing. Well, that's out. Yeah, win awards while you're at. Best sports game. I think that's a spelling mistake because it says eFootball, but I'm presuming it's Football Pro Evolution Soccer 2020. Best strategy game, John Wick Hex. Best family social game, Luigi's Mansion 3. Best online multiplayer, Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
That isn't an error.
That isn't a thing? It's actually called eFootball Pro Evolution Soccer 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. Call me fucking shocked. The best online multiplayer one I think is worth mentioning because we as in the public actually haven't seen anything about Call of Duty Modern Warfare's multiplayer just yet. But they did have enough playable there for people during Judges Week.
Yeah,
to try
apparently there was a playable thing, but they're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
But apparently, if you read between the lines, apparently it's very good.
Apparently it must be good because, yeah, it won the best multiplayer award here. I do find it quite interesting that they can vote for stuff that isn't like publicly, like not available for us to play, but like they can't actually even talk about why they voted for it, kind of thing, you know? Yeah. Like, because every other thing here, if you was to ask for someone like, why'd you vote for this game? They could be like, well, yeah, because I like this. But this Call of Duty online multiplayer thing is the only one where they would be like, I can't actually talk about it at all, full stop. So that's interesting. Best independent game, 12 minutes. That's the one that was shown during the Xbox conference thing. And then best ongoing game, Destiny 2, special accommodations for graphics, Cyberpunk 2077. That must be some weird ruling on that one where they could actually vote for, like, you're voting for graphics, so you don't actually have to play in it. Sure. Whatever. But yeah, I think it's I do wonder though, because like Final Fantasy VII Remake winning the overall best of show, I do wonder if Cyberpunk had been playable. I'm like, what still would have come out on top, kind of thing, you know? Because I feel like it still would have been between the two of those games, but
yeah,
what would have came out on top? I don't know. Would have been.
I feel like Cyberpunk would have. That's the buzz around Cyberpunk has been huge.
Yeah,
and for people to actually get to play it would be.
Unless it controls
terribly,
or something.
Yeah. Or really difficult.
Yeah. That could have been a thing. Don't know. Anything else stand out from the winners there to you?
No. 12 minutes, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably one of the coolest indie games that we saw during the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And John Wick Hex, that's pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's out. I think that's, I don't know if that's a release date, but I'm pretty sure that's out soonish. Yeah. But yeah, there's your best of whatever, best of show awards from E3. I think best original game going to Outer Worlds is somewhat interesting because I just think in my mind that's like, hey, if you thought this was a like just too much of a Fallout clone-y type game, people are saying it's much more than that, you know. And I've read some previews of people saying there's so much choice, I guess, in what you're doing. Yeah. Like there's so many like player-based actions that can lock out characters, side missions, all sorts of stuff. Like they've got heaps of actual branching paths and whatever else. So I definitely feel like it's more. If you look at any of those trailers and just be like, oh yeah, it's like Fallout in space by the same company that made Fallout New Vegas, cool, whatever. How exciting! I think it's definitely a lot more than that. I don't feel like that's putting it under the guise of that is what it is. And they're definitely trying to make sure the people know, hey, our gun combat's actually good. Like it's not shit. So get excited for that. All right, so something's starting soon though. Releasing soon. Releasing what's today's date? July 1st. Releasing the day that this podcast comes out, actually. So, Apex Legends season 2 launches today that this podcast's out, or maybe it's
tomorrow
tonight that this is out, or early midnight or something. Yeah, by the time the dates work out, I don't know what time it's actually going to go live. But so they put out a trailer. So there was a weird story to this. So they originally put out this cinematic launch trailer thing, which we'll talk about first, kind of put things in context here. Because the second video that they had released, they only released because it leaked first, and then they just released it. And it made me wonder when they would have actually put that out, and if it might not have been until actual launch day, I guess, or something like that. Because they were trying to like build up some hype, I guess, and speculation and these sorts of things. Because the launch trailer is pretty cool, I think. They're trying to build a more like story thing to the world, I guess, because they've got your characters in there running around. Then you see what's his? I can't remember his fucking name. The speedy dude I always like playing as, whatever his name is. He's running around doing whatever, you know. Next second, that new character Winston shows up, shoots people down, whatever. But then the big thing for the launch trailer is while all this is happening and it's kind of building character and story to the Apex Legends world, I guess, then you see this tower get shot down and then dragons show up and they're all flying around, and then one of those big dino things or whatever that we've always seen in the background of the map and always been like, what the fuck are they? One of them like starts marching its way across the map and like crushing things and destroying stuff, and buildings are getting crushed and whatever else. So that was the launch trailer, the very cinematic launch trailer. But then the actual video explaining in a little bit more detail what's going to be coming with season 2 was leaked, and then they just officially published that as well. So then that shows you what has actually changed, and I think it's pretty drastic. Well, like there's a lot. I feel like there's enough changing, because you're going to have these dinosaurs flying around or whatever. Some of them are going to appear to be like locked up in cages or something. So I guess you can release them to set them upon your opponents or something like that. It looks like in the videos. Then you've got the big dino thing that's stomping its way across the map. They don't explain like how random that is and how exactly it's going to work with this thing stomping its way across the map, but it is a thing, and it apparently could crush you, I guess. I don't really know. They show that some other visual and like location changes have happened, so something to do with the weather, the area on the map that was all just like blown up and burnt down and whatever else, and there was nothing there, has now turned into a like lush Greenland area. A bunch of the bridges have now been destroyed, so you have to either like, I suppose, be able to have a character that could grapple their way across there, or you have to find your way around, because most of the bridges in the map have now been destroyed. A couple of locations have had new bases built upon them too. Some destroyed, rebuilt, other ones built upon. And then you get Winston, which is a character that can, I don't know, like set up these electric fields and fucking blow people up and these sorts of things. And then, of course, you're going to have new weapons, skins, etc., etc., etc. What do you feel? Are you excited as the prominent Apex Legends fan?
It's been I feel like maybe a month or two since I played. Like, I just sort of dropped off, which I feel like is a common thing.
I feel like Apex a lot of people dropped off. So
if you look online, a lot of people dropped off. Also want to point out, the character's called Watson.
Oh, what did I keep saying? Winston.
You say
it's because I'm an Overwatch fan.
That's the Overwatch monkey.
It's because I'm a big Overwatch fan. Shout out. Big Overwatch fan. See? There you go. Winston.
You Kieran Marchant wannabe.
Watson.
So I guess sort of mix it up. It feels it very much like Fortnite. They do their big thing every season with like a cinematic trailer of how they've changed the world and that sort of thing. So kind of in line with that. But yeah, the changes look like promising. There's going to be a new ranked system so that you get more hardcore people, I guess, back in. And be keen to check it out when it drops.
Literally.
Yeah.
You got these emotes too now, when you're flying out of
Yeah.
when you're flying down, you now
do moves while you're skydiving.
You do moves while you're skydiving. Yeah. I mean, I'm keen to jump in. I feel like, yeah, it's like if you want to play Battle, yeah, it's free, so why not? It's like I dropped off after even buying that Battle Pass for the Season 1 thing, which I didn't really care for because the Battle Pass is what, $10, $15 or whatever it was.
Yeah, something like that.
It's not too much that, because at the time I'm like, I'm never going to max this out, but I don't really care because it's not so expensive that for the time I was playing it at the time, I was like, I'm happy. I'll pay this. I'll get some skins, whatever. You know, we'll do what we need to do here. So yeah, I'm keen to jump back in. I like dinosaurs. I like Winston's, Watsons, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
All right, I got it's my dreams pick this week, Ash, and I picked a mini game. It specifically says in the title it's a mini game, but when I played it, I think I just like it because a lot of the more full-fledged games that people are trying to build aren't finished. I guess, you know, like they're missing features, they're rough around edges, blah 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 blah. But this just being a mini game, it was finished. You know, you're like, what more do we need here? This is the full game, and I kind of like that. And so fucking simplistic, yet at the same time, I could see I was like, I kind of want to have another go. I could beat that score. And I could definitely see people. I could definitely feel like this is a game people could get into and want to beat each other's scores. So it's called Button Smashing Minigame, and it's by HANFI1311. And it is this. At the bottom of the screen, these are tiles, I guess you'd call them. They will roll over and they will reveal, I think it's probably like somewhere between 6 to 8 ish. I should have wrote it down, but I think it's like around 6 to 8 tiles, something like that. And it's just buttons on your controller. So it'll be like left, right, up, triangle, circle, square, X, back, left, you know, like some combination. And you have to quickly like, if you click the wrong button, it doesn't like fail you or reset you or anything like that. But of course you don't really want to miss the wrong button because that's going to fuck up your time. So you want to do it in order. You want to do it in order. Yeah. So it's like, it's left to right in the screen. You want to be like up, down, left, right, triangle, square, circle, bam. And then those tiles will roll backwards and they'll roll back over with a bunch of new inputs. And I think it goes for like, I don't really know. I feel like it's somewhere between 30 seconds to a minute or something. I don't really know, but you'll go through it and then at the end you'll have a score. It's like, there you go. That's how you did. But then you're like, yeah, but I fucked up several times, so I could restart this and get a better score kind of thing. So it's very, very simplistic in its, you know, what it is. But the way it's all presented and put together is just like, it just feels finished to me. And I kind of like that. You know, it's just, you start up the game, it's got a screen there, it says instructions. It kind of looks like one of those, what is that the TV show game where they roll over it's like reveal the ladder, you know,
Wheel of Fortune,
I guess. Yeah, is that it? Yeah, Wheel of Fortune. It kind of looks like one of those boards where it's got all these different things, and like the top half of it it says like what you do, you know, press the buttons, blah 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 blah, and then the bottom half just has the ones that are spinning and rotating in and out for you to press the buttons. But yeah, I kind of like it. It feels finished. I like that it was put together. There was another game I was nearly going to pick for my pick this time, but I played the first half of it and I was like, this feels really good. And I got to the second half of it. I'm like, this half is nowhere near as good. In fact, I'm dying lots of times because it's kind of broken. So you're no longer being the pick. So yeah. And I definitely feel like most of the games I'm seeing on Dreams that feel the best are the ones that are just more simplistic, mini-gamey type stuff because people are able to
put that out quicker.
Yeah, it's like, well, there's not much to go on and just have a bit of fun. So yeah, that is my pick for this week. Button Smashing Mini Game by Hanfi 1311, HANFI 1311. Button Smashing Mini Game.
PSVR for the players.
We're after we record this, Ash, later today, we're both going to be watching Spider-Man Far From Home. The VR experience is out today. Have you tried this yet?
No, I downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet.
Okay. Well, let me tell you, it's better than the first one. Did you play the first one?
No, I did not. I downloaded it,
God.
but didn't play it.
Oh my God. Okay, so they put out one of these free Spider-Man VR experiences for Homecoming, and it was fine. It took like 10, 15 minutes. It was basically like a shooting range thing for web shooters, kind of. Wasn't too exciting. This one, Spider-Man Far From Home, the VR virtual reality experience, I think is the full name, has a, in quotes, story mode where you will web swing through New York, and you have to, you're kind of swinging through, and you'll be like, "What's up, city? What's up, danger?" You've got Ned talking to you. It's voice acted. You've got the Ned actor. You've got Tom Holland talking back and these sorts of things. And then eventually I don't even know if it's supposed to be an alien or something, but some kind of creature thing shows up, and you actually have to battle it somewhat to stop it. And then that's kind of it. Once you finish the story mode, you can jump back into this free play mode where you've got like some combat challenges and what have you. I didn't bother doing all that stuff because I'm like, oh, cool, I'm done. The web swinging feels decent. It's kind of, because it's like a free thing, it gets a pass for not feeling super polished or amazing, of course, because it's not like you're paying for it. But I honestly feel like the web, what do you want, swinging around the city and that stuff, it feels like the basis of what could be a really cool system if they ever expanded on it with a fully fledged experience. Like it works. You go through the city, and I didn't try because they've got like a comfortable setting or a immersive setting, and I clicked the immersive setting because I'm no VR noob, Let me fully control my character and these sorts of things. But you can hold down one of the buttons on the Move controller to make you run forward, and then you move your head and you'll run in the direction you're looking at. Or you can use like the triangle or square or whatever to rotate your body around it as well. And you can press the top button on the Move controller to jump, and then you've got both your Move controllers that you can like aim at buildings and of course web pull yourself from there to there. And when you're swinging between two buildings, it actually feels pretty cool. You aim at this left building and like pull yourself towards it, and then while you're halfway there, aim at the building on the right, pull yourself towards that, and it's like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then if you want to get crazy like I did, I'm like, all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, swing yourself over to this building, hold down the run button, start looking up the building, so you'll start running up the side of it, and then when you reach the very top, press the jump button, and you can kind of launch yourself up in the air, and then like grapple to the top of the building, pull yourself towards the building, and then run and jump off the side of the building. Like you can get some sort of free flow movement actions happening. So I think it's all right. I definitely feel like if you've got PSVR, it's free, and you should check it out because, well, it's free. So it's got no spoilers. I highly doubt this random monster that's in it is actually anything to do with the movie at all. And then the other thing, VR, that we've got to talk about is I got an Oculus Quest 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? Yeah, roughly like 2 weeks ago.
What?
And
I've been asked what hard drive did you get?
I just got the 64, whatever it was. Because I looked up the game file sizes. They're not very big. So, yeah, in case you don't know, we'll quickly say this. Oculus Quest is VR with no wires. So it's a headset and it's two controllers, and then you don't need to stand in any direction. You can play it you can play it literally wherever the fuck you want, and that's the selling point. And you can pack it up real easy. It's real easy to set up. It's just simplistic. Of course, its graphics aren't going to be anywhere near as good as your PC ones, your Vibes, and your whatever have you. But we don't care about that. We're here on PlayStation. We use the PSVR. I can tell you straight away that the graphics on it, I look same as PSVR to me. I don't, it's fine, whatever. And you got two SKUs. So you got this one. There's the 128 gigabyte, I think, is the highest one, and then the smaller one's the 64 gigabyte, which is what I got because I did look up the game sizes, and I don't know in what world you would need 128 gigabytes unless you're like storing video files on yours, which I know you can do if you like enable developer mode and these sorts of things. Like you can store VR movies on it or something potentially. But if you're just thinking about it on a straight up applications, games downloaded onto your headset to play, you would need to download a fair chunk before you could even fill up the 64 gigabyte one. And most of the time, you're only going to store some stuff on there, like, say, Beat Saber or whatever, that you're probably going to leave on there forever. But other than that, other games you're probably going to play and then delete, I guess, move on. So I think 64 gigabyte is perfectly fine. So as my second VR headset I've ever owned following PSVR, I think it's interesting conversation, I guess, to have to how's it compare and work and these sorts of things. And I mean, I can straight away say that I'm not like, I'm selling my PSVR, blah, blah, nothing crazy like that. But I can tell you that I wish my PSVR was my Quest, because for one simple reason, having no cords is the future. It is really that simple. I fucking hate those cords on my PSVR headset. And it's not just PSVR. I would hate having cords even on any of the PC ones. I just generally hate these fucking cords because the amount of times I'll accidentally like wrap them or hit them or something. I've probably mentioned here before, playing Beat Saber or something, wave my arms around. Next second I fucking whack a cord and I'm like, what have I broken? What's going on over here? The freedom of not having any of that is just, I feel that's where we should be aiming for. And no cords is way more interesting to me than high quality graphics for VR, I feel.
Yeah.
That's a personal preference, I guess. Maybe some people would rather high graphical fidelity, but not me. And also just the setup time. And I don't feel like I complain about the PSVR setup time because I said it takes me like, probably 30 seconds to a minute tops to kind of plug everything in, turn on the PlayStation, blah, 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 blah. Not too long. I know a lot of people obviously do complain about how long it takes them to set up their PSVR, especially people who don't have, because I leave my whatchamacallit box plugged in and I have the cords kind of just laying tucked into the side of my TV there. So I only ever have to get my headset out of its box and plug it into the cords there. I don't have to set up everything, which I know some people do. Like, well, there's half your problem. You're setting up the whole thing every time. Fuck that. Yeah. That's way too much.
I mean, even you're taking too long just putting in the box.
Well, that's to keep you got to put the headset somewhere. What do you do with yours? You just leave it
just sitting on the cabinet.
On the cabinet. Yeah, I don't think I even have. I wouldn't really have room to leave.
I've been looking at stands. I'm like, I really need to get one.
I back in the day I was looking at one, and I kept being like, oh, it was like too expensive. I kept trying to find like a cheap mannequin head or something so I could sit the thing on. But yeah, it's like the Quest setup is as simple as grabbing the headset, putting it on your head, turning it on. That's it. You're done. You're now in. Off you go. Do what you need to do. And I feel like that not only as someone who has both these headsets now is like, well, that's exciting and that's really cool and that's makes you potentially want to play more games because of the how easy it is to get into it. But I also just feel like as a consumer level thing, I feel like the Quest is the easiest, will be and could be the easiest headset to get people into VR. Because it's the easiest thing to explain, and not having a bunch of cords and stuff and whatever else is that potentially turns people off, I guess. Like PSVR, what do you need to play this? You need a PlayStation. All right, well, I could get a PlayStation for cheap. And then you're going to have all these cords and blah, blah, blah. Some people might be like, oh, that turns me off. Then you got your vibes and your Steam Index is out now, Valve Index is out now, and these sorts of things. It's like, well, you got to have a high-end PC, and then you still got to plug in all these cords, and where do you tuck the cords away when you got rid of the headset, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like to get people interested in VR as a market, I honestly feel like the Quest is just the most consumer-friendly. It's just like, you buy it, you put it on, you play games. That's the whole thing. That's how it works. Is there any before I talk about some random shit that I've played in comparisons, is there any like random questions or bits of bobs that you've thought about?
Is it comfortable? Is it heavy?
Yeah, that's the two questions, I guess. Like, is it comfortable? Yes. Is it heavy? Yes. I think it's
so
comfortable.
If you've got a weak neck,
yeah, then you might have trouble. The thing with it is it's very front end heavy, like in the box, and that's because obviously it's no wires or anything, and has a lot more going on inside of it than your other headsets. So the weight of it is definitely a lot more heavier than my PSVR headset. Not to the stage that it's like making my neck hurt or anything crazy like that. I feel like if you was to play it for like 4 or 5 hours or something ridiculous, then it might be a thing. But at the same time, the battery life on the Quest is like 2 hours, I think. Like that's the estimated thing. And 2 hours for most people is going to be enough before they are happy to, like, they're done. I'm done playing this. I can take it out. You can plug in the charger and play while it's charging, of course. But then you've added the fucking wire and wire back into the equation and defeated the whole thing. But I would say it's comfy enough for the time. But it is noticeable the first time you put it on, if you've played another headset like I have, that you're like, this is a little front end heavy. I Googled it at some point and found out that people have, like, some companies invented this like counterweight thing. Like it's a I don't know what you call it. Like it's a little wraparound thing to put on the back end of the headset that apparently is like soft on top of your head or whatever, but kind of counterweights the front end weight, that people have been buying for like $20 to solve that issue if it isn't enough of an issue for you. All right, so the other thing, this is the most noticeable thing, and honestly, if PlayStation launches the PS5 and they're like, we're not doing PSVR 2 yet, the number one thing they need to do ASAP is get rid of the fucking Move controllers. Because I cannot tell you how much I wanted to throw them out the window after I'd been playing my Quest for like a week and a half, whatever, and I turn on my PSVR to play this Spider-Man thing, and I pick up those Move controllers, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are these things? And not to say that I never thought they weren't trash, because I've always known they're trash, and even if I mean, it just makes sense. They're very old. They're PS3.
They've been shoehorned into this PSVR experience.
Yeah. And when you use, when I've used the Oculus controls, which I think are called the Oculus Touch controls or something, I think is like the official name for them. Here's what they have. They feel a lot better to hold because they're designed for how you're going to be using this. Move controls aren't designed to be used in VR the way you are, and you'll often find yourself holding them in weird and wonderful ways. But Oculus Quest controllers, you hold them, they feel nice. That's cool. So they're a lot shorter. Yeah, they're shorter in length, but then they also have like this circular part that comes in where your hand goes in. And here's the buttons here. I'll just pick one up. Make sure I don't miss anything here. So Oculus Quest touch controller. You have a button on the side of both of them, and in games this will be like your grab button. So obviously you're holding your hand around it and you use that, and you'll be grabbing stuff that way. You've got a trigger button on the back end of it. Obviously, if you're playing something with shooting or so on, that's where you're going to be doing for that. On the inside of the controller, you have two buttons, like A, B on this one, and then you also have an analog stick. So that is everything that's wrapped around. And then you've also got like a home button or what have you on both controllers, or like a button you hold down to recenter the, like yourself or whatever. And that's all your buttons. They're placed very nice. They all work great. And I've never had to use the A or B button for anything so far. Because most games, of course, it's just like or the stuff I've played has just been like grabbing stuff or whatever. But then the other thing with this is in when you're playing something, they're called touch controllers because it senses what you're doing, and it's kind of weird the first time you do it. So like if you move, for instance, your back index finger that's on the trigger button on the back of the controller, if you like kind of lift that up off the button, your finger in the game will kind of lift up and point. So you can point your finger, not by pressing a button, by actually pointing your finger on your controller. It'll just sense what you're doing and know what you're doing, and you'll be pointing. The same goes for your
accuse people in games.
Yes. The same goes for your thumb, which usually rests, on the analog stick in the inside or what have you. If you lift that up like you're doing a thumbs up, you'll do a thumbs up in the game. So then that allows you to do a combination of different things. So you can hold down like the side button and if you hold down all the buttons, you'll make a fist. But then you can hold down all the buttons to make a fist. But then you lift your thumb up and you are literally just going like thumbs up. Or you can hold that down and then point at someone, which I'll quickly give a quick impressions of. Just for instance, to talk about as I played the Vader Immortal thing last night. So, and the first time Darth Vader came in and he was yapping on at me, I was just like pointing at him because I'm like, yes, do what you need to do. But it's just funny little things like that. So, and the controllers also feel a lot more, what would the word be? Ergonomical, I guess, in your hand. They're not
ergonomical.
Yeah, ergonomical. They don't feel like you're going to hurt yourself by holding onto them for too long or anything like that. So that's the Quest touch controllers. They're a lot better, and honestly, as much as I like this no cord shit, I'm like, in what world? I don't know. Like, would I like PSVR 2 to become no cords? Yes. How does Sony do that? I suppose I'd have to have. I mean, can you do a technology where they have the box or whatever that plugs in and it's able to like stream it to the headset? You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd still have to be in vicinity of your PS5 or whatever, but they can take the cords away. I don't know if that's a thing that could even actually happen. But then if that's not an option and the only way to do wireless is to actually have all the technology and whatever on the inside of the headset, well then PlayStation's not going to do that, because I guess then, well, maybe, I mean, at that point they would be making their replacement for the Vita would technically be a portable VR headset at that stage, because it'd be like, well, you don't have to have this plugged into your PS5. You can take it anywhere. It's called the PlayStation whatever. It's like, okay, well, you're making a portable again. Kind of. Yeah. That would be a weird scenario that happened, but then at the same time, maybe, I don't know, like I know Shuhei, for instance, brought a Quest. I saw him post on his Twitter at launch, he brought a Quest. So, and every time you read or see stuff from Shuhei, president of Worldwide Studios, of course, every time you see him talk about VR and stuff, I feel like you can tell that he's passionate about VR in general as a technology, I guess. Like he definitely likes it. So, and there's no way that he's not trying stuff like Quests and whatever else and just being like,
how do we do this?
How do we do this in some way?
What can we implement?
What can we implement? What can we change? And I don't know, like maybe there could be a weird and interesting future where you get like the PSVR 2 that hooks up to your PS5 and it's graphically improved and they've released new controllers. But at the same time, I'm like, you could release new controllers now, PlayStation. You don't have to wait to the fucking PSVR 2. Get rid of the fucking moves. I'm sick of them. But yeah, they could release PSVR 2, hook it up graphically. It's cooler and all, whatever else. But then maybe they also could release like the PlayStation VR Quest or what have you. They could have two VR headsets. One is the one that you plug into your PS5 to play. The other one isn't as graphically exciting and whatever else, but you can take it on the go. And then PlayStation could very aggressively, I guess, with two headsets, attack the VR market. It's like, and if they made a wireless one that doesn't actually require PlayStation 5, they would be in the same market as the Quest for people. It's like, oh, I don't have a PlayStation, can I still get this headset? Yes. You don't need to have ever owned a PlayStation to get this headset. What do you log in with? You log in with your PSN ID. If you don't have one, make one. Whatever. that would be really cool. And I could see a lot of people obviously buying both headsets, as I would like to if I somehow, I don't know, like pull money out of my back pocket to fucking afford all these fucking VR headsets. But I would, if that was a world that existed, I would happily, well, not happily, but I'd like to buy the PS5 graphic cool looking one, and then also the on the go PlayStation headset, so I can earn VR related game trophies while I'm at a family member's place that I don't want to talk to. You know, like whatever you need to do, sort of thing. And then the only other thing I was going to mention with this is the cord freeing thing, and not having, because like you know in like if you look behind you in a PSVR game, there is stuff behind you, but you'll kind of get that warning of it's going to lose your tracking, because obviously it needs to be able to sit in front of the camera, and there is a light on the back of the PSVR headset to track when you turn around your head, so it knows where you are looking behind and these sorts of things. But it's not designed to work with stuff that's happening behind you. But when I played through that Vader Immortal thing last night, the fact I was so easily getting lost in my room in a ridiculous way was kind of scary, because I was afraid I was actually going, for the first time, I was afraid I was going to like just walk into my TV or like fucking break something in my room, because it is so easy just to get lost and not have any fucking idea what you're doing. Because not only am I walking freely with my two analog sticks, I've got one controller and I've got controllers in both hands. On the left controller, I'm using the analog stick on that one to control and move my character around. On the right controller, I'm using that right analog stick to, I can rotate my character like you would in a normal game sort of thing, like a normal first-person shooter type thing. But then also at the same time, I'm turning my body around at times, like full 360 degrees, like doing 180 turns to see who the fuck's talking behind me. And then instead of doing a 180 turn in real life to turn back, sometimes I would just turn myself around using the controller. So when you mix all that stuff together, you're like, where the fuck am I in the real world, and what the hell's going on? And you have no idea where you are and what you're facing until you accidentally punch a desk several times like I did, because the game did warn you when you booted up that you're not playing in a big enough space. I'm like, yeah, shut up, just let me play. Just let me play the fucking game and get on with my life here, what I'm doing. So yeah, is the Quest the future of VR? Maybe. I definitely feel like if the companies need to target at this stage in VR's life cycle, whatever you want to call it, I think companies should be targeting ease of use and setup and what have you over
power
graphics and powers and stuff. Because I read some reviews of the Valve Index and stuff, and people are like, it looks cool, it looks great, it's really powerful, games look stunning in it, whatever else, but it's costs $1 billion trillion, and people are like, no one's going to buy this. Right? No one's like, oh, my first VR headset should be an Index. The only people that are going to buy that are real hardcore VR people who want the most powerful VR thing. But we're not at the stage in VR's life cycle, whatever you want to call it, like development, where that should be the most prominent thing people should be going after. It should be ease of use, getting people interested in all these sorts of things. So, and I'm hoping when Shuhei and anyone else that's trying out the Quests at PlayStation, and they're possibly like kicking around ideas for like the PSVR 2, I guess, that's what they're taking on board the most. Like ease of setup. How quickly can people get into games? How quickly can people play them? How good do the controllers feel? The fucking Move controllers. Get the fuck out of my life. Oh, I hate them. Yeah, that's Quest. Any other random tidbits or?
No, I think you got everything.
Beat Saber works in it.
Well, yeah, that's a plus.
It's basically the same Beat Saber except for, I mean, no, it's the same Beat Saber. It's Beat Saber. You can, it tracks better because in my room, because I don't accidentally go out of range of my camera and then the controllers fucking flip out and I miss a note and get real shitty. Because, hey, guess what? There's no camera. You can fucking drop all the way to the ground to dodge those things over your head and you won't miss anything. Future of VR, PSVR 2. Please make it wireless. Please make it happen. Here's your ETC for episode 117. Your first tip being, fuck Crash Team Racing. I'm never getting that platinum. Who invented the difficulty of those time trials? No. I mean, if you can get the platinum for that, much respect. We've got 3 games to go over here. So the first one, Paradox Soul, is coming to PS Vita. That's right, a PlayStation Vita game we're talking about. It's 2019. It's fucking July 2019, and we're talking about a PlayStation Vita game. I hadn't heard this game before, but I looked it up on Steam, and Steam reviews tell me that it's about 2 hours long, and everyone was complaining about that. But a 2-hour, potentially 2-hour platinum, of course, to us, sounds fucking great. So you pair that with the trophies that look that sound like this. Find the map, find the bombs, kill a running robot, get an ID card, defeat the second boss. I'm assuming all of this adds up to be a very easy platinum. If it's only 2 hours and all the trophies sound like things that you just beat the game, basically, yes, please sign me up. It's 1 plat, 10 gold, yes, 4 silver and 2 bronze. So keep your eye out for Paradox Soul. Next one is Grass Cutter. It's coming out July 10th, and it looks really easy. You play as a goat or some variation of goat or sheep-like animals and things, and you're cutting grass because that's what you do. And most trophies just require things like scare the cat 20 times, destroy X amount of objects, scare the dog, use a power-up, etc., etc., etc. It looks like it'll just be very easy and just require you playing through a few levels and farming things like scaring the dog in the level where the dog is, and just easy. So keep your eye on this one. That is Grass Cutter. And the last trophy list that took interest this week is Sea of Solitude. It's coming out this week. The EA indie title that was announced about a year ago, I guess, at this stage. Has you trying to not get killed by the monsters living under the sea and whatever else is happening in this game. It looks really interesting. I'm really excited for the game in general, but the trophy list also doesn't look too bad. There are some collectible things though. So there's a trophy for collecting all the bottles, and there's also one for shoot all the seagulls, which may or may not be missable depending on if there's level select options for the game, or even if the game's like too long if you miss them all, to make it hard to go back through and follow a guide doing these sorts of things. But all the other trophies apart from those seem very story related or ridiculously hard to miss things. So of those two, it looks like it could potentially be a very easy platinum. The only downside to this platinum list is that trophy images are very bland, and that always disappoints me. Just put a little bit more effort into your trophy images, please, people. Some of us look at them and go, you've just used the same image, except for you've changed it to either be gold, silver, or bronze, or platinum. It's very boring. Put a bit more effort. Thank you. Thank you for joining you. Thank you for joining us on Platinum Explosion this week. You can follow me on Twitter at Vivaladil, Vivaladil. You can follow Ash on Twitter at Ashley Hobby, ASHLEYHOBLEY. You can follow the show on Twitter at Play Podcast, and don't forget to rate on Apple Podcast if you can. It really helps out the show. If not, just please tell a friend or pass. I don't know. Do what you need to do. All right, just do what you need to do. Join our Discord, chat about games, ask for trophy tips, or send in a topic for the show if you'd like to do that. ExplosionNetwork.com/Discord. And this is, of course, a product of the Explosion Network, which you can find many more shows, articles, news, reviews, exciting things at ExplosionNetwork.com. And you can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod. And until next week, remember, PS Move controllers fucking suck, and I'm sick of them, and also every trophy counts.
Every Saturday, catch Arcade Couch Ashley and others when you listen to a brand new episode of Arcade Couch, the Explosion Network's variety video game podcast. Sit back, relax on the couch to chill with your friends and hear about the latest industry news, as well as our opinions on the latest releases and what we've been playing. Just search your podcasting app for Arcade Couch and subscribe for free now. Hashtag Physical Media Forever. Hashtag Physical Media 2038. Hashtag Cuties.